What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope everybody out there is having a great day. It's finally greenhouse day here on the homestead. We're getting a new greenhouse installed, and I want to try to take you guys through the process as these two guys are here putting this thing together. I don't know if they'll get it done in one day or maybe take 1.5 days. We'll just have to see, but I want to just show you along as they put it together. So this video, I'll be filming this pretty much all day and maybe into tomorrow a little bit until we get it, or until they get it completely put together. But I hope you enjoy it. So here's all the pieces of it right here on this trailer. So considering the size of some of these pieces, I think you would need a trailer if you went and picked this thing up and you were going to put it together yourself, because some of these are pretty big. I don't know if you could fit all this in the back of a regular size pickup truck, but these are all the pieces there. There's some plastic there somewhere, the door. I think that wire there might be for the shelves inside, and they've already kind of started to put together the skeleton of it right here. So it's 10 by 16. So they're putting together all those little pieces, and then they'll put some concrete post or rebar, something in there. I can't remember what exactly they're using to kind of hold it in place, but just kind of getting it laid out right now.
Windows wide, the curtains fly to catch the evening breeze. Without you here to keep me warm, believe I'd rather freeze. Believe I'd rather freeze. How long can we walk that line between the sea and sand? How long can we bide our time for dreams we never planned? For dreams we never planned.
So they got the frame put together here, and then these little rails right here is where the roll-up doors are going to sit. So they'll rest right there when it's all the way rolled down. You can kind of see the skeleton of it here. And right here's where the door's going, and then that's the frame of the door going in right there. So the door will go on this side. I wanted it on this side as opposed to the other side because my water's over here, and I'll likely be walking from this way, accessing the greenhouse.
When the sky said the winter time was coming on, and you cry to see a shadow, babe, it's growing long across the lawn. Another song.
So we're on day 2 of the greenhouse build here, and Jeremy's here digging some holes. Thankfully we got some rain last night, so they're easy to dig. The ground's nice and soft, so they'll put some concrete down in there and tie down, and that's what'll hold this puppy in place. So they'll put that at each of the 4 corners there.
It's Tuesday night, it's 3 a.m. I ought to be asleep. If only I could tell you all about the dreams I keep. Oh, about the dreams I keep. I wake up every morning and wasted all the day. I'd turn it all around if I could only hear you say that you were here to stay.
So they've started putting these rails on here. This is where the plastic will attach, and they'll put what they call wiggle wire. It's sitting over there on the ground. Wiggle wire in there to hold the plastic tight and in place. So those rails run along the bottom there. They've already screwed them in there, and then got them running along top here. They've already got these braces in place. The benches will run all the way along this side and all the way along this side here. Those little bars you see right there, those are what's going to hold up the benches, which is basically just 3 little rails here. You can see them bundled up over here. So that's what will make the bench, and then it'll be covered with some hardware cloth. So gotta get those benches in, and then get the rest of these rails for the plastic and wiggle wire, and get the door in as well.
When the sky said the winter time is coming on, and you cry to see a shadow, babe, it's growing long across the lot, another song.
So a few thoughts as I've been watching these guys put this thing together. Two people without really knowing anything about putting up greenhouses could put this thing together. Now, not as quick as these guys because they do a lot of them, but if I had a healthy back and another hand, I'd probably put this up in a few days, you know, taking my time, making sure to do everything right. You don't really need a lot of tools to put one of these together. Most everything is all the tubing and everything is cut to the right size. The only thing you really got to cut are these little rails right here that hold the plastic, and the wiggle wire holds the plastic in place. Those are all a fixed length, so you do need a grinder to cut those. Besides that, really, you know, an impact gun is all you need to put this thing together. You need a good impact gun to put these screws into this pretty thick tubing here. You need a couple good batteries, because doing all that will run down some batteries quick. As I've seen with these guys, they have about 5 batteries they go through in a day or so. But besides that, you really don't need a lot of tools to put these things together. The instructions seem pretty clear. There are certain things you have to do in order just right when you're putting this thing together, but it's really not that bad. And now watching them do it, I could probably put one up in a couple days as well. So it's nice that everything comes in like a kit where most of the pieces are the right length. You only have to cut 1 or 2 things, and I really like how they design these things so it's pretty easy to put together. So let me show you where we're at this point. The rails for the wiggle wire are installed almost everywhere they need to be, so that's where the plastic will be kind of tightened into place. They got to run the wiggle wire underneath here because this bottom here will be solid plastic. This space right here will be where the roll-up curtain is. So the wiggle wire is there, the plastic will run all over the top, and then this right here can be opened or closed where this curtain is going to go. Now on the back side here, they didn't have to do this, but they went ahead and did it just in case I want to add a fan in the future. So this right here, this little square is framed out, and they have an optional fan you can add. I didn't get it with this kit, but it's already framed out. They're going to put the wiggle wire around it, although they're not going to cut it out. So I can add that fan in the future if I want it. Down here is where the concrete's going. They went to town to get some concrete, so that's how that works. It just attached, and there's a long metal pipe there that goes down the ground. They'll pour concrete in that hole, and this thing won't go anywhere. And the door is up. Got a little chain there. We can control how far the door opens there. There's a vented window they'll be putting in the door here soon. Don't know really why that door needs a key and a lock. If someone wanted to get in here, all they have to do was cut the plastic, but there is a lock on the door. I wanted to swing inside like this because I can put me a bucket or a brick there and leave that door open, give me some extra ventilation, keep it cool when I'm in here planting stuff on warmer days. And as I was telling you earlier, not a whole lot of tools needed to do one of these. You can see everything they're using here. Level, a couple impact guns, got your grinder there. They did show me some neat tricks with the string as far as getting everything level across there. They run a string, and that way they make sure everything's the same height. That's a neat little trick. But besides that, not a whole lot needed to assemble this thing. So here's one of those kind of order of operations things I was talking about earlier. This brace here that will be concrete in the ground, you got to put that on before you put the rail for the wiggle wire on this post right here. So some things have to be done in kind of an exact order.
Sometimes in my silence, before the city glow, I still recall the nights when I could hear you breathing low, and I caught you breathing low. But it's too late to turn around, too cold to go outside. I wonder if I saw this love as anything beside another place to hide. When the sky said the winter time is coming on, and you cry to see a shadow, babe, it's growing long across the lawn, another song.
All right, she's finished. It took those boys a full day and a half to put this thing together. If I was doing it for the first time with somebody else, you're probably looking at closer to 3 days getting it together. But now that I've seen it done, it's really not that hard. You just gotta take your time, put it together right. And now I want to take you inside, kind of show you some of the features, talk about why we chose this particular model for our homestead greenhouse here at Lazy Dog Farm. So it's no big secret that it gets really hot down here. And because it gets really hot, you really got two options with a greenhouse. You can put a fan inside of it, but it still may be a little too hot, or you can have roll-up curtains like we have here. So these are really easy to roll up and down. I'll tell you how it works. Just do that number there, and they go all the way down. You can shut it down in the winter time if it gets real cold, and roll it back up. If it's just a little bit hot outside, we can leave it kind of halfway up like that. Or if it's really hot outside like today, we can roll her all the way up like we see there. So that's really handy, really nice to have, really can keep this thing ventilated, keep things from getting too hot in there, keep things from drying out too much in there. So down here, this type of greenhouse is, I won't say a complete necessity, but it really helps having those roll-up curtains there. If you do a polycarbonate greenhouse down here with the kind of harder sides on it, and it's totally enclosed, you're definitely going to have a fan and some additional ventilation. That's why I like this plastic here as opposed to the polycarbonate, because I can have those roll-up sides there and get that extra ventilation. Another thing to consider, the plastic versus a polycarbonate sided greenhouse. Down here we do get hurricanes and tropical storms, and if one of those comes through, those polycarbonate greenhouses are going to get folded up like a pretzel. However, the frame on this thing is super sturdy. It's concrete in the ground. So if we knew we were getting a huge nasty hurricane coming in, I could come in here and just slit some of this plastic, you know, cut my losses on the plastic, and this frame wouldn't go anywhere. The plastic obviously would get destroyed in the storm, but we can replace the plastic, but it's not going to damage the frame. So that's another reason why down here, this type of greenhouse with a plastic covering as opposed to polycarbonate walls is going to work much better for us. So not sure if I mentioned it already in the video, but this thing is 10 feet wide, 16 foot long. I'll take you inside. So here's the door with the vents installed on it. Now those vents are supposedly designed to be automatic if you've got the fan there in that square on that end. However, I'll show you here how they open like that. I'm probably going to rig me a little string or something so I can open those up and keep them held open, since I don't have the fan in here. I don't know if I'll eventually get a fan. We'll just have to see, but not planning on it right now. I've got white poly on the top of mine. It's got clear on the sides, but the white poly is on the top, and I can tell you already this is a lot cooler than my dad's, who has the clear plastic on top. So we got some relief using the white poly. I'd highly recommend going with the white on the top. A lot cooler in here than if we had clear on the top. We got our benches all the way, the whole length of the greenhouse. These things here are super sturdy, some really heavy duty hardware cloth. Got a bunch of those clips in there that can hold a bunch of these big trays, no problem. And I like the hardware cloth there because I can put any size tray on there, not just these big ones, but it works great with these big ones. There's not a whole lot of overhang there, maybe just a few inches on each end, so that fits almost perfectly. A 10-20 tray would fit on there, and you'd have some room on each side, or you could probably stack them horizontally as opposed to vertically, like that one is right there. Right here in this front corner is probably where we'll put an electrical box eventually, so we can plug in some germination mats. We're not going to need those this fall, but we'll need them come spring. Probably put us a water line, a water spigot somewhere there inside the greenhouse by the front door. We might even put a second outlet on this side so we can run germ mats on this side and this side of the greenhouse. We'll just have to see. And then over here in the back, where this area is empty, we'll probably put us some kind of potting bench back here along this back wall, so we can store some of our supplies and stuff like that. I don't know if I'll buy something or build something. A lot of people were asking if I was going to put plastic down in here, ground cover. Nope, I'm not. I want a dirt floor in this thing, so I'm going to kill all this grass either today or tomorrow. And once it dies, we'll have a dirt floor in here, because I don't like to have to worry about spilling seed starting mix or potting soil. I get a little messy when I'm potting up stuff or filling these trays, so if I get some on the ground, I want it to be dirt so I don't have to worry about it. Now, they left that excess there untrimmed at this point because they said leave it like that a few days, because this thing could swell and stretch a little bit with fluctuations in the weather, and they said to leave about 3 inches. I'll get Miss Brooklyn out here to kind of tidy that up a little bit, but they said to wait a few days before you do that, give it a chance to kind of expand and all that. But the plastic on the top is nice and tight, almost like a circus tent there. This is 6 mil poly. It's real good stuff. Should last at least 4 years, if not longer than that. So I hope you enjoyed watching the greenhouse build. I know I certainly enjoyed standing out here and watching these guys put it together. Kind of helps me understand all the pieces on it, and I could probably replace the plastic on my own when that time comes. And now that we've got this greenhouse, this opens up a whole world of possibilities as far as the videos we can do on this channel, showing you guys how we start our seeds, how we grow our own transplants, all that fun stuff. Hopefully we'll do some fig cuttings in there, rooting some fig cuttings. Probably won't grow a lot of big container plants in there, just because it's not really what I got this for, but we may have 1 or 2 pepper plants or something odd in there throughout the winter. But for the most part, we're going to use this for growing transplants and maybe doing some fig cutting stuff, like I said. And if you're interested in looking at one of these greenhouses here, the Easy Grow Greenhouse by Atlas Greenhouses, which is in Alapahaw, Georgia, but they ship all over. I'll put a link below to this particular model, and you can give them a call. The price varies depending on what all features you get, but give them a call. Ask for Stuart. He's the guy I work with. Tell him Travis at Lazy Dog Farm sent you, and they'll be glad to get you set up based on what you need. You can put heaters in here, you can put fans in here, you can put rails in the top for hanging baskets, all kind of features you can add to these Easy Grow greenhouses. So let me know in the comments below what you think of our new greenhouse here, and if you've got any video ideas, anything you want to see us do in the greenhouse this fall, winter, or going forward, definitely put those suggestions in the comments below, as well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.
Oh, farewell. By the beauty of your life,